Today we're having Steve from the Home Inspectors Group cover the Enbridge HR rebate, the current program led by the Ontario government. If you guys have any questions at any time, please feel free to either leave your questions in the chat box, or if you guys want to unmute yourselves and just ask a question, go ahead. We're going to have a question and answer period after as well. And yeah, with that, I'll have Steve take it away, and yeah, good to go.
Great. Thank you, Daniel. Good morning, everybody. So some of you may be aware that the program stopped for a short period of time back in February. It came back in July, and one of the things that the program has come back as is, first of all, this program is run by Enbridge Gas. It is a mandate from the Ontario Energy Board to have these programs, and they need to have these programs as a result of their DSM mandate. So it's run by Enbridge Gas. It is not run by the federal government. That's the one thing you need to know. But essentially, the core of the program, the way it runs, is it needs to have a minimum of 2 upgrades. So the 2 upgrades can be essentially anything that we're going to review. If you can see the the slide or the PDF. So the program itself, you need a minimum of 2 upgrades. You must have an Enbridge natural gas account. And the key to have a natural gas account is you can't just have a barbecue, for example. You have to have natural gas heating. The primary heat source has to be either a boiler or a furnace. If there is another heat source that's natural gas, it's not going to be accepted. Only those 2 are accepted because of their high usage. The key is the homeowner, it has to be their primary residence. However, if you're a landlord, you don't have to live in the house. In the previous program, you had to live in the house. In this one, you do not. The homeowner has essentially 120 days to complete the first audit. So the final audit, sorry. So from the first audit to the final audit, they have 120 days. If there is an extension that is required, all you have to do is you can ask your client to just contact us. So we will contact the client or vice versa and get an extension directly for them. Now, the type of homes that qualify for this are a detached home, a semi-detached home, a row house, and also a mobile home, but it has to be on permanent foundation. The total rebate amount for all the work that is going to be done in the home is $5,000. And within that $5,000, the homeowner receives a rebate for doing the audit. So they're going to pay for the energy audit. And with us, it's $779.80 plus that includes HST. And out of that $779, what they get back is $600 on top of the other rebates. The homeowner can go back many times into the program if they choose, but after that, there's not a reimbursement for the audit fee. Now, one of the things is if there is another program at the same time that is also giving a rebate, let's say for heat pumps, they cannot be stacked essentially. Okay, so for attic insulation, these are the type of rebates that are available for attic insulation. We don't necessarily need to go through them unless somebody has a specific request where they also do attic insulation and they're also doing any HVAC. But essentially, the minimum R value that you can end with is when the energy advisor arrives, you can't have more than R35 in the attic to get a rebate. Now, if you're asking yourself, what does R35 mean? Well, the building code essentially had where the attic was to be filled up to an R32 up until about 2005, 2006. After that, it was above R32, where you're hitting the R40s and the R50s. So anything older than 2005, 2006 is where homeowners are going to qualify essentially for attic insulation. They're not going to qualify if they had it topped up as well up until that point. Now, I just want to scroll down to the windows. Windows are also another popular one. For windows, you have to have a minimum of 3 windows in order to qualify. So they get $50 per window, but you have to have a minimum of 3 windows. And the way Windows works is essentially it's from brick to brick to brick. It's the entire opening that's considered as a window. Ground source heat pump also qualifies. So for geothermal, if you're installing a full system, they get up to $3,000. If you're replacing the ground source heat pump, then you get $1,500. When it comes to the air source heat pumps, the air source heat pumps are going to be based off of the tonnage. So anything from 1 ton to 4 tons, you're going to get for a cold climate. We're not really going to be putting in anything other than a cold climate these days. I mean, you can, but usually you want to stick with the cold climate because it gives the best performance for a longer period of time where they can use it. So the tonnage really is going to work by anything from 1 to 1.4 is 500. 1.5 ton to up to 1.9 ton is 750. 2 ton to 2.4 is 1,000. 2.5 to 2.9 is 1,250. And then 3 ton to 3.4 ton is 1,500. You can see they're increments of 250. Then 3.5 to 3.9 is 1,750. And then anything greater than a 4 ton is 2,000. So when you're looking at this, this isn't just for a central system, it's also for ductless as well. And if you're installing a ductless where the exterior condenser, for example, is a 3 ton, but the number of heads you install does not totally match up to a 3 ton, it's less. You actually will go based off of the heads and the condenser as well. So whatever the number of ton is that's installed from there. Now you're asking yourself. Now here's where where we get contractors that have an issue. Where they have an issue is where the tonnage, they're asking themselves where they actually get the tonnage. So where you actually get the tonnage is from the NRCan list. On the NRCan list, the there's a tonnage associated with each one of those, each one of the approved list. Daniel, do you have the list on hand, by the way?
I can take a quick look. I'll see if I can post it in the chat in a couple minutes. I think I
Okay,
might have an older version of it, but
okay.
it
I
should
can
suffice.
I can go ahead and I can get that, and let me go to ground source here, air source. Can you see my? I can't see what I can see. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So right now there's 95,318 approved models. Is there a model that you want me to take a look at or a brand, Daniel? Anything specific?
If you want, we can look at, say, like let's do Bosch, and Bosch thermotechnology. I think there's two options there, just to show people you can select more than one.
Okay, we will do that. Click search. So right here, there's 37 models, as you can see. So, and then the grant amount, this grant amount is not what Enbridge is giving out. This is the old grant amount for the old Greener Homes program. So do not pay attention to this. If you're showing this site to the homeowner, don't take a look at that dollar amount because that's gonna create some problems. So we'll pick. Do you want me to go with a Bova?
Yeah, that
You
could be
want
good. We could also compare with some of the combinations that are, $4,000 under that old program and some that are five, just to show the difference.
sure. Okay, great. So over here, it's going to tell you the tonnage. So here's its rated cooling capacity and the rated heating capacity. That's what you're going to go with is the rated heating capacity. And that tonnage there essentially is going to tell you whether or not it's going to qualify for the certain dollar amount. Let me return to now. Now I know there was an update to this where a lot of these that were 5,000 have now become 4,000 or are not considered a lower. Do you know what I'm talking about? Because these used to be 5K and now they've changed. Did you notice
I
that,
think
Daniel?
some of those are actually slightly different because they've added extra models. I think the existing ones are still probably 5,000, but I think you might want to go instead of Bosch Thermotechnology Corp, you want to go
Yeah.
to just Bosch. I know they have two different ones, so
Here we go.
yeah. you'll see some
Okay.
5,000 in there.
Yeah. So here's your rated heating capacity that they've added on here to support these programs. So if you're selling something that is a 3 ton, but it's listed at 3.5 or even 3.8 or 3.9, then what's going to happen is it goes based off of this brochure here, where the tonnage is. Now on the Enbridge website, it doesn't actually show the actual tonnage as I have it broken down here. You're going to have to guess, but this one here breaks it down so that you know exactly what type of incentive. Now, when an audit request comes in, or if you're talking to anyone of the team, for example, or whoever you're using for your energy audits, you can also ask them to tell you, what is the actual specs? Here are the specs of the system. Can you double check to make sure it qualifies? For one, it's on the list, and two, what is the amount that's actually what it's going to qualify for? So we do that. Now, if you're using somebody else and they don't know, you can also send it to the team, my team here, and they'll gladly just let you know what it is, and then you can go on your way from there. Now, as far as some of the things that the rebates that you need to understand for the rebates, one is the rebates are this one here. The Enbridge program is around until the end of November 2025. That'll be the last November 30th, 2025 is the last date where you can do a first assessment. The assessments are going to end on that date. However, the final audit has to be done by December 31st, 2025. So whereas homeowners usually have 120 days to do the program, for this one here, they're only going to have 30 days if they're doing it on November 30th. Now, after that date, what's going to happen is going to be a new program. A new program is going to be a whole home program that's going to be run with the IESO and Enbridge. It's going to be co-funded. What that's going to look like is it's been sent to the Ontario Energy Board, but it has not been approved yet. So we're going to wait and see how that's going to pan out. That's the basics for the program. Now, I just want to see if anybody has any questions with any scenarios that they may have they may have dealt with or are going to deal with, or any concerns they have from any audits that they've done or anything like that. So the minimum for the program you have to be aware is you have to have a minimum of 2 upgrades. That's the key.
Cool.
So if they're doing a heat pump, they have to do something else. They can do air sealing. Let's see here. They can do air sealing. Now, for air sealing, here's the incentives here for air sealing. One of the issues with air sealing is the age of the home. So if they're doing just a heat pump, air sealing is usually not going to qualify unless the homeowner is going to do a significant amount of work to air seal their home. It's very possible for them to achieve, but it's not something that we usually promise homeowners. We leave it and let them know that that's usually a third upgrade that they want to do. So if your homeowner is doing anything, ideally you want them to do some attic insulation, or if they're doing a heat pump water heater. For the heat pump water heater, they get $500 for the heat pump water heater, and that's has to be part of the eligibility list that NRCan provides. That's what Enbridge is using as a basis for qualifying.
Hey, Steve, quick question. Some people might have regarding the tonnage and the rated heating capacity. Regarding, say, multi-zone ductless splits. If you have, say, get like a 3-zone unit, or that's rated at like 20, let's say 27,000 BTUs of heating, but you only put 2 9,000 BTU heads on it. How's that calculation done?
Yeah, so that's going to be based off of, so it's 18,000 BTUs. You're looking at not the actual condenser. So I said that at the beginning of the presentation, where you're not looking at just the condenser. You're also looking at the heads and the output from the heads as well.
If like on the NRCan listing, like where do you like the auditors, like how do you guys check that? Like the heads, do you guys just look at the specs on the heads, or do you?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, that's exactly what happens. So we're going to need on the invoice, you need to have the condenser model number. Ideally, if you're putting in whatever system that you're putting in, there's going to be an AHRI number. That AHRI number is very important to make sure that that the system qualifies. We use that AHRI number to enter it into the eligibility list, and then once we put it in the eligibility list, it's going to tell us the models that qualify and also the heads that are also compatible with it. So they need to essentially match. If don't match, then there will be a problem. So my recommendation is to absolutely check with us first before you install anything. Talk to your homeowner, let them know that you're just going to double check with the auditor, and then sending it into the office. Or I'm pretty sure you guys already have that spec sheet, don't you, Daniel, of what
For
qualifies?
which ones? Oh, like the whole list of
Yeah,
like in like for the HR program?
yeah. For
Yeah.
the ones that qualify, I think you have that, right?
Mm, like a spec list, I don't know. Like I put in the list of the like the that form that you were talking about, the one you had
Mm-hmm.
on the like on screen, but I don't have like a list of all products or anything like that.
Oh, I
Like
thought
this
you
one,
did.
this one's the one we have. This one I shared in the chat.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Well, it's that the brochure I sent you. I see the brochure there. Did you share the link?
Yeah, that's the one that you had on screen. So I don't know if
Yeah.
that's is that the one you're talking about or not?
No, I'm talking about the actual this one here. This
Oh,
product
I
search
can put
list.
the link if you want for that. Yeah, we have that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, great. So what's going to happen is you can use this and go from there. This will give you all the applicable ones that qualify. It will tell you what matches, whether it's a furnace or whatever one it is. I don't know all the. This one here, as you can see, it's a coils only. So what that means is that it works with any furnace. It doesn't require a matching furnace. This one here will definitely have a matching furnace. And then some of the ones here, you guys are going to know better than I would as to which ones are requires which head that is matching. Um, I don't know what. Let's see here. I think this one is.
Here, I just put that link in the chat box as well. So I
That's
think
great.
anyone who clicks on that, they'll be able to start searching for any brand, any combination they want, any HR.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then yeah, I guess they can download that whole list as well. So like as an Excel sheet if they want. I think you just gotta click download models or something like that, or in the search results press download.
Yeah, you can. You can download all models. One of the things is you can search this up online, right off your phone. Um, when you're downloading the spreadsheet, the only issue with the spreadsheet is it gets updated every 3 months. You have to remember to go and check to see if your model's changed. There has been situations where, and this is in the past, where a model was actually taken off because the manufacturer sent the wrong specs for that model, and NRCan had to take it off. So if you are in that type of situation, you want to make sure that you know that it was on there. And then for each one, what happens is, let me just pick one here. I'll take the first one. For each one, this is the spec sheet essentially for it. And this spec sheet, you can just do a screenshot of this and provide to your homeowner as well if you want. But this one here tells you exactly everything you need to know about the model that's being installed and the rebate that it's getting. Essentially, this is considered a cold climate heat pump right there, and the tonnage is going to dictate how much money they're going to get. In this one, it's $2,000. Now, if you are doing this program along with the loan program, is everybody familiar with the loan program? First of all, can you still see my screen?
Right now you're not sharing your screen. It's on you, but
Okay,
it was switching
I,
between you and the screen here and there.
I know it
Yeah, a
keeps
lot of
switching.
technical issues.
It keeps switching on and off.
No
What are you
worries.
doing?
I'm pulling up the loan
Okay.
details to share in the thing, but if you are able to get the that on screen as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on screen as well.
I think I have an older version from a 2023 on it. So it might not be updated with the current information.
Okay. I've got the loan here. So for the loan, this one here is the homeowner can get up to not 40,000, up to $40,000 interest free. And the way this works is the minimum that they apply for that they can get is 5,000, and the maximum is 40,000. The repayment is 10 years, and it is interest free. This is an unsecured loan, and it's on approved credit. Now, the key for this loan is, first of all Canadians can apply for this. You have to own your home and you have to reside in your home. So, if you are a landlord, for example, and this is that you're applying for a property that you own, unless you live in that home, it will not qualify. So, you have to live in your home and you have to own it. And the way this works is the homeowner is going to first get a quote from you. Once you give them a quote, they can use that quote to apply for the loan. But before they apply for the loan, the way the steps are in this brochure, we have the steps all laid out here, exactly what they have to do. So once you get the loan, the first thing, once you get you give them a quote. The first thing is they need to complete the energy audit. Once they complete the energy audit, we're going to be submitting that information to Natural Resources Canada. At that point, it's going to get uploaded to the homeowners. What they is a portal is going to be essentially created for them. When they call in, they're going to match that portal, they're going to match that report with their request. And that usually it's going to take anywhere from 5 to 10 days to get an approval. Once they get approved, it's going to tell them the amount that they're approved for. And the way they're going to tell them that is based off of their debt ratio. So how much debt do they have, how much money they owe, as well as income, their ability to pay it back. The reason it's important is because it's an unsecured loan. So this is what this is meant to do. It's meant to tell Canadians, hey, listen, reduce your consumption, reduce your energy efficiency, and then we're going to help you with this interest-free loan so that you don't go into debt for doing this. The loan right now has been extremely popular. Almost every single contractor that I know is getting this done for their homeowners because it's interest-free. And the waiting period is not what it used to be during greener homes. It's much faster now to get the loan. It's still available. It's still around. But the loan is eventually going to run out. So what I tell people is the sooner you do it, the better. And now, just so you know, in order for them to get the loan, that is the homeowner, they must pay the contractor first. So if they don't pay the contractor, then you need to. Then they're not going to have a payment in full invoice. We'll say. So you need to provide them a paid in full receipt, of which they submit that to get funds back. Now, some people who are getting the loan don't have the money up front. So what some contractors are doing is getting them into some kind of bridge financing until they get the loan, and then after that they can pay it off once they get the loan. Any questions about the loan? Okay, pretty straightforward. Okay, I think that's about it, Daniel.
Yeah, I mean, the loan seems okay, at least to me. I had a quick question actually.
Mhm.
There's this other program, Auto Heat Pump Affordability Program. Maybe we could delve into that a little bit, if you have time. But recently I noticed that um there's now gas furnace combinations on the listings for the oil to heat pump affordability program. Is that a recent change from before, or what's the requirements around that?
So the oil to heat pump is a little different. So that does not require an energy audit. That one does. It has changed. I would say maybe about 4 or 5 times now since its inception in 2022. The oil to heat pump program is exactly as it is. Essentially, you have to replace your oil furnace, your oil heating, essentially, show the intent that you're going to be removing the tank, install the heat pump, and then they give you an incentive for that. And I believe it's up to $10,000 now. I know it has changed. In the past, they used to require an energy audit, and then now it doesn't. Um, but essentially, the oil to heat pump program. Is there anybody online right now that actually that does oil heating at all, or homeowners? Anyone? Nope, I guess not. Either way, the way the oil heat pump program rolls out is if you have any questions about it, you're more than welcome to. I'll put my number here. You can give me a shout if you have any questions about it or your clients, and then we can go from there. Okay, so there's another program the ISO came out with, Save on Energy. It's the affordability heat pump program, and that one basically is based off specific postal codes. You have to be registered with the IESO and their partner in order to be able to offer that incentive. It is only to electrically heated homes. And you must meet a certain income essentially to qualify for that. Now, in the new year, Enbridge is also going to partner up with the IESO, so it's going to be open to not only natural electricity customers, but also to natural gas customers. That's going to come out in the new year. There's lots that's coming out in the new year. The other thing that's also coming out is the building code has now made it across Canada. It's suggested right now in Ontario. BC and Alberta is making it mandatory to do a CSA F280 heat loss, heat gain, or heat gain, heat loss, whatever you want to call it. And so now, in order for a builder to install a heat pump, they must have the heat loss, heat gain, and that's called the CSA F280. In Alberta and BC, it's mandatory for all new construction. Ontario, it's suggested, but it's going to be coming where it's going to become also law where you have to have the heat loss, heat gain, and eventually it'll be the same for existing homes as well. Currently, right now, we are doing those for, I think, three contractors. So every single install that they do, they have a heat loss, heat gain that's associated with it. And there's a whole certificate and everything that comes with it. Eventually, that's going to get registered with the federal government. But right now, it's more of a best practice type of situation. If you want more information on that, you can give me a shout as well, or shoot me off a text.
Is there any detail on like any upcoming programs other than that, like the new year?
Yeah, there's lots of programs that are coming up in the new year. As far as details go, there's not that many that's been released. I'm aware of a little bit, but I have an NDA, so I can't really talk about it. But you're looking at heat pumps going to be central to a lot of the work that's going to be done, especially to low and median income. The federal government, they have a low and median income program that's going to come out, which is going to help those that specific income base with installing a heat pump. And heat pump essentially is the sexiest word around right now. So everybody is looking, from municipalities to utilities, they're all looking to do heat pumps. So the new year is going to be very interesting as far
Basically,
as
heat pumps are the name of the game.
yes.
Regarding the loan program again, I think you probably mentioned it, but it has to be an audit, like an upgrade that qualifies in the NRCan listings, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct. It has to be on the actual NRCan eligibility list. I just noticed now that I was sharing my screen and it stopped sharing.
Oh yeah, I mean it's been on you for the last couple minutes, but I don't know what's going on with the. Seems
I
like
don't know.
there's trouble connecting and all that.
I don't know. That's bizarre.
I had one more thing I think about that
Hmm.
loan. I had a situation just recently. This is why I asked about the eligibility list.
Hmm.
It was for some energy upgrade. It's for a heat pump replacement. But it's a home with multiple systems. Now, I know with this new HER program, you don't need to do whole home replacement to get a rebate. Like for the yeah, you
Correct.
only have to put in like a tonnage. But for the loan, is that
Well,
also the case, or is it
no, no, that's a fantastic point. So for the loan, if you're installing a heat pump, you must distribute heat to all levels of the floor, which includes the basement as well. Now you can actually have the loan and you can have the Enbridge program. And you can essentially have them both together. So get a loan plus get the incentive. The minimum requirement would be defaulting to the loan requirements. So the loan requirements, you have to have a head if you're doing a ductless, a head on each floor, um, and as a minimum. If you don't know if it's going to qualify, this is where you have a conversation with us about it, and then we'll let you know based on your install. This is what it looks like. Yes, you're going to qualify, or no, you're not. But for Enbridge, the minimum requirement is a minimum of 12 as 1 ton to be installed, so 12,000 BTUs.
okay? Yeah, that clears it up. So basically, they need to go based on the loan requirements, which are a little bit more stringent on the heat pump side. So it's kind of the same as the Greener Homes grant in a sense. So if they have two
Correct.
systems, they'll have to replace both systems in order to qualify for the loan. And in such a case, they'll probably be able to qualify for the HER program. But there are cases where you can qualify for the HER, but not the loan, right?
Correct.
Hmm.
Yes. If you're going to qualify for the loan NHER, you have to install to the standards of the loan.
Okay, that's good. That clarifies things. Thanks.
Mhm. And depending what the homeowner is doing, if they're doing more work, they're doing attic insulation and doing wall insulation, windows, they're doing a bunch of work, and they happen to live also in Durham region. You also have Durham Better Homes, Greener Homes. Sorry, that one. There's also incentives available for it if you reach a certain amount of savings, where you can get the greener homes plus the loan, plus you can get the Enbridge incentive, and things like that. There's going to be a lot of these programs that are going to be coming out. The City of Toronto does the same thing as well. The Home Energy Loan Program is what it's called. So there's a bunch of different programs that I don't know all of them because they're coming out literally almost every other week.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good to know. Um, I think that honestly, I think on my end, like that covers it. But yeah, if anybody else has any questions, feel free to even unmute yourselves or just speak up or just write in the chat. I think the default is you guys are muted, so if you guys can probably unmute yourselves and talk. But otherwise, yeah, I'm good on my end. Well, let's give it another minute or so to see if someone else has questions, and then yeah, we can wrap it up.
Great.
Okay. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I've already joined this meeting and I have some question about the loan program.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna give you an example. For example, I gonna give my quote to my client. For example, for $20,000. This amount of this price includes heat pump and furnace. Do you accept the price of the furnace or just for the heat pump?
So if the furnace is required for the heat pump, they may consider it.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's for the heat pump, but if it's a requirement and it has to be a matching system, then they will take a look at the entire system. So the way they look at the how much they're going to give out is they have all these quotes from across the country. where there's hundreds of thousands of installs that have been done, and they take a look at what the highest, what the lowest, and what was installed, and then they know what it should really cost in order to for them to give out the loan. So, at a minimum, they'll give 5,000, and if your quote is 80,000 for a furnace and a heat pump, you're not going to get that. The homeowner will not get that. So it has to be reasonable.
And how many percent of this amount do you approve? For example, for $20,000, do you have any market price for each equipment, or no? I don't know. For example, usually the customer asks me, "Can you approve all this unit, all this price for example, my quote from the government or not?"
We don't do. Are you saying if we do the approval?
For example, I'm gonna give the customer for $20,000. Do you accept the 100% of this amount, or for
We have
example,
no.
80%, 70%?
Yeah. So just so you know, we actually don't do the approvals. So it's the homeowner that has to submit it to the federal government. What the
Yeah.
federal government wants to see is that an energy audit has been done. And
Yes.
now what we do on the first audit is see how much greenhouse gases is the home currently using. When they submit that invoice, it's between them and the federal government as to how much they're going to get. When we come back, we basically say, here's what was installed. Here's the reduction in greenhouse gases for that home. So now they could say, okay, we've given out 15,000, 18,000, whatever it is, and there's been a reduction of, say, 10 gigajoules for that home. That's how and then they take that information and then go back to the Paris Accord, or they go back to the COP or whatever, and that's where they talk about their residential sector, how much greenhouse gases have been reduced essentially for the country.
And do you have any market price for for example, the heat pump and hybrid hot water tank or attic installation or something else?
No, not really. No.
Because usually we have to promise to our client that we can give this amount of this loan for the customer, and the customer has to make sure that this amount of our offer should be approved.
Yeah, I don't know how you can make that promise. You can't, because there's so many factors that are involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think you'll be able to make any promises to homeowners. You're going to want them to apply for it. They give them a quote, they apply, and then they can see how much they're going to get.
And should we have to install two type of the heat pump system, or one type of heat pump system and attic, or heat pump system and windows? Which one?
So it depends. If you're doing the loan, you only need one upgrade. You don't. There's no incentives. It's the loan.
It's one upgrade, because I've heard from one of my friends that he's doing the energy audit, and he told me that you have to use two upgrades.
You do if you're doing the Enbridge program.
Uh-huh.
So they're two separate programs. You have the Enbridge program, which is the Home Efficiency Rebate program. That one you have to do two upgrades. If the homeowner is not doing that and just doing the loan, then all you need is just one upgrade.
One upgrade for getting the government loan.
Correct.
For interest free.
Correct. That you only need one upgrade for that.
One upgrade. For example, for the heat pump, I'm going to install a heat pump in the customer's house.
That's right. So before you install, you have to do an energy audit.
Yeah. Yes, I know. Before that, the energy audit guys has to come there and do the audit. After that, I'm gonna install in that house.
No. You have to wait until they get approved.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
But
okay.
I'm gonna offer to the client for a heat pump and furnace.
That's fine.
How much can we offer to the customer?
For what? For the loan?
For the price.
Oh, I don't know. That's whatever you normally charge. I really don't know.
For example, I'm gonna charge them for $10,000 for
Okay.
heat pump and furnace installation.
Yeah.
How much can I get loan from
We
the
don't know.
government?
We don't know because every
Oh.
homeowner is different. It all depends on their credit rating. So
If they,
it depends on
yeah,
their credit rating, and it also depends on their income as well.
yeah, I consume that everything will be okay. Everything, the credit card and and salary for the client is okay. Everything is okay.
Yeah, I literally have no idea. They
Yeah,
don't tell us that information. We don't know.
yeah. You know what? This is my problem that usually customer ask us that how much can you get us loan? And
Yeah, so that's when you tell them.
I cannot answer them exactly.
That's right. So your answer to them is, I really don't know. There are many factors. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to apply, and then once you get a response, let me know. Here's my quote.
Yeah.
And then you go from there. Now, in order for them to know, they will have to do an energy audit. So there's going to be, they have to pay for the energy audit in order to know what they're going to apply for.
But usually the customers doesn't want to pay even $1 from their pockets. They're gonna have this new system by the loan or get pay installment for less than $100 per month.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? These days, nobody has cash or pay cash for this.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, like I said, right now it's the busiest for us. It's actually busier than the rebates. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of contractors that are doing the loan program. It's busier than the rebates right now. Because it's free money. It's free money.
Yeah, it's free money. But the rebate doesn't cover the whole price for the system. See?
I don't know. It depends.
Yeah. We can get a rebate maximum $3,000 for a heat pump system, but the heat pump system and furnace usually costs over $10,000.
Yeah, so the rebate will never cover 100%.
Yeah,
right? That's never going to happen. But with the loan, it's basically like getting a rebate because it's like I said, it's free money. It's paid back over 10 years, and they have to pay back on a monthly basis over 10 years.
Yes, but the loan plus the rebate has to cover the cost of the heat pump installation for the client, because they don't want to pay anything from their pocket. This is my problem, because usually when we offer some program to the client, the first question that they ask us is that it's not free, and they ask me that do I have to pay anything from my pocket, and if I have to make a contract with the client, I have to tell them that no, you don't need to pay anything from your pocket.
Yeah.
See? Yeah, usually this is our problem.
Okay.
For getting it by, yeah. Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Hey, Steve. Quick question as well. We're just wondering if that joint IESO program is going to require an audit.
Don't know yet. Right now, it does not, and I'm leaning towards it not requiring, but I'm not 100%.
But not confirmed. Okay.
Yeah, I doubt that it will.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Steve. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, good, good. I have also a question similar to Rezo's question. I was
Mhm.
wondering by considering his example, just to make it simpler, if we have a $20,000 lien, including $20,000 deal with the customer, I mean estimate, including a furnace and heat pump. Uh, do we have to price the items separately, or we can put $20,000 including furnace and heat pump? Because I'm thinking that it should be like separate price. Let's say $5,000 for furnace and then $15,000 for heat pump, since they only consider the heat pump item.
They don't. So
They
this
don't.
is yeah. So they don't. It all depends if the furnace is required as a matching unit. If it's required as a matching unit, then it's not separating them. Does you can separate them if you want. It's not a problem. If it is not a matching unit, it doesn't require a matching unit, but the furnace, the heat pump will work much better if you have an old conventional or a mid efficiency and you install a high efficiency that's going to operate at a much better efficiency for the heat pump. Um, then they will consider it as well. So they don't tell us at all. We've asked numerous times, how do you want to see this? What's going to be the best result for them to receive the loan? And they just refuse to tell us. So
uh,
we can speculate all we want, but we just don't know.
right, but you're saying that if the fairness is required, but as far as I know, like for most of the brands at any sizes, the like fairness replacement is not required anymore, right? I remember at the beginning of the
Correct.
program it was one of the must, but it's
Correct.
not anymore, right?
Correct. However, um, it has to be under a coils only. So if you remember the link that I showed earlier, in order for it not to qualify and requiring a furnace, it has to be a coils only for heat pump. Do you know what I mean? It has to be a
Yeah.
standalone. If it is not on the list as a standalone, it won't qualify if you don't replace the furnace. It has to have a matching furnace. So whatever condenser you're installing outside
Right.
has to have a matching furnace. Otherwise, it has to be listed as a coils only, basically a standalone.
Okay, let's say for that specific package, the furnace is
Mhm.
not required, but we
Yes,
still have to submit one quote to the client, right? And it's including the furnace, which is not required for that program, right? How they gonna separate it? Like, again, like
so
the
yeah,
total is 20,000, and
okay,
me, like I and my customer, we know that 5 is for furnace and 15 is for heat pump. But if
yeah,
I don't separate it, how they gonna approve the loan according that heat pump
okay.
item?
Okay, that's so I talked about that a little bit earlier. So what they do is they have a pricing list of what they're seeing across the country for that type of combination, so that they know with that model, and there's another furnace that's put in there, that model usually goes for say $8,000 or 7,500 or whatever it could, or 10,000. Then they will give a loan based off of that. We do know that they do that.
For all cases.
Yes, for a lot of cases, yes.
Okay, so like even if we don't have that furnace, right? Let's say one quote for only one heat pump, and we
Mhm.
price it for 12,000. There is a possibility that they only accept 10.
So the price is one. The second thing you have to consider is the homeowner's debt ratio. The third thing you have to consider is their income, their ability to pay it back. So it's not just one thing. Here's what the price is. Hopefully they're going to get it. It's going to be based on other things too.
I see, I see. So I think the smartest and the safest answer, as you mentioned, is I don't know. Right? Just put them on
Well,
hold.
well,
Let Yeah,
it's we here's what we do know. We know that there's those three things.
right.
What the best thing to do is to sell your equipment at the price that you sell it, submit it as honestly as you can with what you're doing, and then hopefully the homeowner gets as much as possible. Because some of it is just out of your hands,
Right, right. Okay,
right?
all right. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Any other questions or thoughts or concerns? Different scenarios anybody might be going through?
Seems
Okay.
like yeah, seems like it's good, I guess. Don't see any other questions. Just scrolling through right now. Nothing unanswered. Yeah, okay. I think we can pretty much wrap it up. I think I'm gonna just put yeah, you have your number already posted. I don't know if you want to post an email as well to contact.
Yeah. Now, do not send me clients. Whatever you do, you can call me and ask me questions or text me. That's my cell phone that I put in there as well. I'll put it in here again. You can call or text or email, whatever you wish. Texting is probably the fastest. Email, I eventually get to them by the end of the day. But any of those scenarios, you can go from there. And if you're using somebody else, it's not a problem as well. If you have some questions, it's not a problem. Just you can send me your questions, and hopefully you can educate the other company as well.
Just gonna post Steve's number again.
Yeah, I just put it up. I just put it up there.
Okay. Oh, are you sharing it, or because it's still trained on your face? It's not. It's not screen sharing.
No, I put it on in the chat.
In the chat earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see it in the chat.
Yeah, it's just further up. I'll just post and apply it.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thanks so much, Steve. I think that's just about all.
Great.
Yeah, thank you all for attending. Pretty good session. I think we covered pretty much not just the HER program, but even the oil to heat pump and anything upcoming, and all facets of the rebates.
Daniel,
So
if you can just stay on for a bit, I just have some questions to ask you.
sure, sounds good. And for everybody else, thank you so much for attending.